some quite big news last week with Active Super being sort of fined by the federal courts $10.5 million for greenwashing their ESG type policies within the organisation. Big wake-up call for organisations. My personal view is that there is a lot of greenwashing around and it is going to be called out. So ESG is becoming increasingly a key topic for all organisations. It is going to be important to have this right in regards to funding, business partnerships, joint ventures, and so on. And it really is important that the policies, the philosophies, how this flows through your organisation is genuine. So organisations that just think they can talk a good talk, pump the stats up, or to make things sound better than they are eventually going to become undone in some way, shape or form, whether it be officially and they're fined, or it might be more subtle through we can't get a bank loan because the policies and what we've put on the website doesn't actually stack up in reality. I think it's time that boards really look at their expertise around the boardroom. I think you absolutely should be considering having an ESG expert in the boardroom. I think this area is increasingly complex. I think the reporting around this area is going to become very complex and looking at how this flows through the organisation. So I think you have to have at least some level of visibility into this at board level. You might consider having a chief officer who's involved or responsible for ESG, but you'd want ESG really coming right across your key functions right across the business. But at board level, I think there's a big gap, and I think a lot of people think they know what it all means and how policies flow out through the business, but I think there's a lot of gaps in director knowledge where this is concerned. A lot of organisations will be caught flat-footed. So if I was a board in a major organisation at the moment, I'd certainly be looking at appointing an ESG expert and or maybe use that as a committee, maybe put together an ESG committee reporting to the board, and then sort of use that to create board papers and make sure your board is really up to speed with what we need to do. Where are we at on the state of play? Where do we need to be? And how do we get this working well across our organisation and delivering benefits to the organisation? I think a lot of people often think of ESG as a negative, but it can be an incredible positive if you get it right, and an opportunity to lead in your industry and in your organisation. So I think a big warning call for a lot of board directors. There's certainly been a very tumultuous few weeks in terms of activity, fines, legislative issues. These things are not going to go unnoticed. So certainly a time to pay attention to ESG matters for board members.